The Toyota Yaris is currently the only small car you can get with a hybrid powertrain, and the combination of the 1.5 litre petrol engine and electric motor certainly ensure great running costs. Given that in its most efficient forms, the Toyota Yaris Hybrid manages CO2 of less than 80 grams per kilometre and a fuel economy of more than 70 mpg, it's not hard to see why it is a popular option for anybody after a small, efficient car. However, it has got a lot of petrol and diesel competition in the form of the Volkswagen Polo, the Ford Fiesta, the Seat Ibiza and far more, not to mention pure electric rivals like the Renault Zoe. So can it really justify an asking price of £17,000 and more? The reality here, I'm afraid, is that the Yaris is nowhere near as good to drive as rivals like the Volkswagen Polo or Ford Fiesta. For a start, the brake feel in the Yaris isn't too great, so it can be quite hard to actually stop the car smoothly around town. And also, the performance is really quite sluggish, so as soon as you leave the city and you want to sort of get the speed up a bit, then you end up with this sort of wailing 1.5 litre petrol engine in the background. And honestly, you could be hearing that quite often as well, because it is quite a slow car, so you do quite regularly want to accelerate hard. Other cars with a standard engine are going to be actually quieter. I'd also actually quite like a better driving position in here. The seat feels quite firm, and I mean, I'm a very average size, but I would quite like to see a bit more reach adjustment to the steering and this kind of thing. It just feels like some small tweaks would make this a more comfortable car. Even so, having said all of that, the Yaris is, of course, a very efficient car, and that is likely to be what's going to appeal to you. So, around town, it's going to use that electric power reasonably frequently when you're pulling away from a standstill or parking and this kind of thing. We haven't seen as much electric running in it as we have, for instance, in the Prius or the CHR. And honestly, the real-world economy too is quite a lot below what you get in them. So, I have to say, yes, the Yaris Hybrid is an efficient car, quite possibly the most efficient small car apart from the pure electric Renault Zoe. Even so, it's a shame that it is so middling in just about every other area. Still, mundane driving aside, the Yaris has got a lot going for it in the cabin. All the materials feel pretty good, and the general sense of build quality is better than in plenty of rivals. You do get plenty of comfort equipment in the basic Yaris Hybrid, including reversing camera, climate control, rain sensing wipers, but you also get a really old-fashioned infotainment system. Well, actually no infotainment system. You get a CD player and an FM radio, not even DAB. So you have to step up to Icon to get this touchscreen, which itself is actually quite old-fashioned compared to the best rivals, and you have to step up again to Icon Tech to get SatNav, which you will probably want to do because you cannot get Apple CarPlay or Android Auto on any Yaris model. You can even get a trim in the Yaris range which brings a contrast roof to add a bit of interest to the Toyota's looks, and you get lots of safety equipment as standard across most of the range. Every Yaris gets autonomous emergency braking and lane keep assist, and if you go for Icon trim or up, then you'll also get the speed limit beamed onto your dash. Practicality is good, if not class leading in the Yaris. The tall windows let lots of light in, and there's more space in the back seats than you get in a Fiesta. But the boot, while a decent size for a small family, is still a bit smaller than you'll get in a Seat Ibiza or VW Polo, and the seats don't fold flat. Funnily enough, that high list price that initially seems the biggest hurdle for the Yaris Hybrid actually won't be a problem for most buyers, as Toyota offers really great monthly finance deals. Plus, of course, those low CO2 emissions mean that company car buyers will be really tempted. By far the biggest problem is that the Yaris lags behind so many rivals in so many critical ways. There are umpteen other small cars that are better to sit in, better to live with and better to drive. So even though it is one of the most efficient small cars out there, the savings that you're going to make don't really justify the other areas that you're making sacrifices in. We would certainly recommend the pure electric Renault Zoe or one of the more efficient petrol or diesel alternatives before we'd say that you should spend your money on the well-intentioned if rather unlovable Toyota Yaris Hybrid. Do get in touch with us on Twitter, Facebook or Instagram, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for loads more electric car reviews.